You're asking the question from a third dimensional standpoint in which you are looking at time as a constant, where there is a linear progression, and it's not. Time is an illusion, and it's simply a marker for events. So when you all think of reincarnation, you think, all right, well, I have a lifetime that started in 1000 BC, and then I had another one in, say, the 1700s, and then another one in the early 1900s, and then here I am today. So you think there is a linear progression, and really there isn't, because what you consider to be the past or what you consider to be the future is all going on concurrently. And so what you are choosing to do is take your soul's essence and harness it, focus it to a specific now moment. And by doing that, as you enter into 3D, you create a physical structure for yourself. All right, you create the body and you incarnate, if you will. But that part of you, that soul's essence, can also then project itself out, fracture itself out into other lifetimes in order to have experience. So one of the greatest issues for you all when it comes to your sense of progression, when it comes to your sense of deservedness, when you talk about karma, is that you think that you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. There is this idea of hierarchy. And because you're playing in a game of duality, because you've entered into a dimension in which you have light, dark, positive, negative, male, female. You've got both extremes. You can't have one without the other because of the nature of the game. When you fracture down into this dimension, you have oneness, which is happening up at the source level. And then as soon as you enter into dimensional structure, you have some level of separation, some polarity. And when you get to 3D, the polarities are pretty far apart. So you have hierarchy all the way down through the dimensional structure. Here you really get sucked into the idea of it. Right. But there is an aspect of you that is already part of source energy. You already are one with all that is and ever will be, and with the infinite. So it's not that if you come down here and you have a lifetime in which you play the dark end of the spectrum, that the next life you are condemned or punished to, take a step back and have a harder life, or that you are, then going to have to play a particular role that may not be so pleasant. It doesn't really work that way. At the soul level, you say, all right, I'm going to go down and I'm going to play the perpetrator so that somebody else can play the victim, because you can't have one without the other. Sure. And you have that vibrational experience, and then you say, all right, well, now I understand. And now I want to try it again from a different perspective. So let's play the victim this time. And you will contract with other beings, and oftentimes the same beings, to play that opposite role so that each gets a turn. And this can be going on concurrently as you structure your lifetimes and the kinds of vibrations that you want to experience. So you also choose times in history, if you will, that suit your needs. So it is possible for you to have a future life first and then put yourself back in time, as it were, to put yourself in a setup in which the conditions are right for, say, your oppression, if you will, if you want to play a victim. Sure. So, it's not neat and tidy. We're giving you more of an expanded perspective of what it is. We could give you the linear answer, but we don't want to do that any longer. We want to shatter your version of reality, in a sense. We don't want to leave you feeling overwhelmed, but we do want to break you out of the box.
So, in that sense, having that information, the whole karmic wheel that's talked about in Buddhism and other religions, is that just a misunderstanding then of how karma works? Or is karma even real, or how does that... Can you
in a sense, we would say it is real.
Okay.
When it comes to your idea of karma, there is a lot of manipulation that's gone on in the explanation of it, and it was used to control because there was a lot of violence going on.
Right.
So from the human 3D level, from the ego level, this is how it was interpreted. But because you're down in density and you're playing this game of separation or the illusion of separation, you still want to present yourselves with some of the concepts. So you're giving the information to yourselves in the best way that you can process it from this level. So we would say when you think of the karmic wheel, it is a story or a version that is the best that you can process from that third dimensional mental level. Is it how things really work? No.
Okay.
It's as close as you can get from the process of the linear mind.
So if the time is, you just explained time is an illusion, and kind of all of these lives are happening simultaneously, would it be safe to say that what we're learning in this lifetime right now is affecting prior lifetimes or future lifetimes?
Absolutely.
So.
And not only your lifetimes, but also all life in the universe. And this is in part why it's such a special time that you are going through this particular period, because there is so much growth that is happening, and you are really having to learn and work with compassion. And how you learn and work with compassion is sent off to all life throughout the universe, and the information is a game changer. And why we say this is because Earth is kind of a melting pot for galactic issues. Earth is unlike any other planet in your system, in your galaxy, really. It's a grand experiment in which genetic material from thousands of worlds was deposited in order to play out some of the galactic issues on a smaller scale. And along with all this genetic material are all the emotional components, all the things that you have experienced in all of those lifetimes. And we call Earth the planet of emotion. So you've got a huge range to work with. And it is, in a sense, a blessing and a curse in that you have many emotions to kind of sequence together in order to get your way out of the lower densities, in order to elevate your consciousness, but also because they are so extreme, you also can fall into the trap of getting stuck, in a sense. So as you have both experiences of the positive and the negative in this realm, you hold a lot more compassion, because all of you have had those times where you felt that lower resonance, that lower frequency, that lower emotion, and you know that it can feel really challenging and really hard. So the way that you experience compassion and the intensity of that particular frequency is so much stronger than it is experienced in the higher realms, that you actually are teaching the rest of us throughout the entire universe, including the higher realms, how to experience compassion with more depth.
I understand.
And that's sometimes hard for humans to kind of wrap their mind around, because again, you have this hierarchical idea that beings in the higher dimension are better than.
Right.
We're just different. We're just playing in another game. We're just playing with a different set of rules and having a different kind of experience.